Okay, so welcome to our first guest speaker. Thank you, Dr. Renu, for being here. Could you introduce and give us a little rundown of who you are?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Renu Bansal. Not used to the doctor yet. I just am newly graduating from medical school, but I'm excited to talk to you all. Do you want me to get started, answer the
Yeah, you can
questions
start
or?
with the presentation. Yeah.
Okay. Um, so I decided not to do like a PowerPoint or anything, just because I didn't want to run out of time. So I think I'll just talk to you all, just kind of have a conversation, just be kind of laid back about it. But just feel free to jump in, ask any questions along the way. So like I was saying, I'm a newly graduated medical student, so I'll be starting residency soon. So I'll be acting like a doctor in training for at least 3 years. So I'm actually going into family medicine. So I'll be doing family medicine residency, which is basically training that you do between basically after medical school and then becoming like a full-fledged doctor where you work independently. So that's what I'll be starting in July. And so just kind of I'll just kind of go through like the questions that I was giving ahead of time. So just talking about like what medicine is and like how it uses like STEM, that this is what this is about. So we definitely use almost everything that you can think of that's part of STEM. So we use like biology, chemistry, physics, mathematics, even like technology. So all of those things are a part of like every day that we practice medicine. So like for example, just like a patient comes in and they come in with some complaints about a condition that they're having. So we have to use biology to understand what is happening in their body in order to come up with a diagnosis. And chemistry is used in the medications that we use. There's a lot of chemistry that goes into that. Physics is used in like things like cardiology, because your heart has so many like electrical signals and all that. So all of those things kind of all come together. And technology is obviously huge. Even like artificial intelligence is coming into medicine. It's helping us with coming up with diagnoses, also writing, documenting our patient encounters. So we use like literally all of it. So definitely very, STEM focused. And how I got interested in STEM. So growing up, I like when I was in your guys' shoes, I loved all my science classes. Like chemistry was my one of my favorite classes. I took like AP chemistry. I know I think you guys, most of them are middle schoolers, but in high school, I took like AP chemistry, AP biology, I think I took AP physics. I don't know. I didn't take AP physics. Physics was my like lowest like interest, but I took AP calculus. So like those are all like my really I really loved all those classes. And so I remember being in high school, I was thinking like, what kind of career choices I would want to make, especially like thinking about ahead, going to college and everything. And I felt like I like healthcare, something in healthcare was, I feel like would be best for me because not only does it incorporate all the subjects that I loved, but I also really liked like taking care of people and like being able to like help them. Like I really was involved in like community service. I was like in Girl Scouts and like growing up, and like so all those things like were really important to me, and that's what kind of drew me towards like a healthcare related career. Um, and then so kind of talking about how like my journey has been with being in like getting to where I am today. So like I was saying, in high school, I took a lot of like AP classes and stuff, and that really helped me, especially in college, getting all the credits like that, like like AP. You when you take AP classes and stuff, you get credits like when you're in college. So it really helps out. So if you can take AP classes, that's great. I majored in global health. I actually went to UC San Diego. So I applied into global health because I just, I was really interested in kind of working like on a global scale of like healthcare. So like I always imagined myself like going abroad and doing like health related things. So I was really interested in learning more about that. And also like I did a little bit of like traveling in high school, and I got to learn. I was really interested about learn. We're interested in learning about like how people who live in like lower resourced communities, and even we see it in our own, like in the US, where people just don't have a lot of access to healthcare. And that was like something I was really kind of interested in learning more about. So that's why I did some global health. Um, and then so that was my college experience. And then I was considered like I went into like pre-medicine. So you like kind of for us it wasn't a major. It's kind of like you just declare yourself being pre-medicine, and then you take like the required classes you need to go that are required for medical school. So that meant like taking all the biology classes, taking all the chemistry, math, physics. Like I needed to take all those classes in addition to my major classes, because my like for example, if you were a chemistry major, you could hit a lot of the requirements, but my global health major was not science heavy, so I had to take a lot of like extra like classes. So worked pretty hard in the like first few years, and then like kind of dwindled down as I got to my last year of college. And then I like involved myself in like volunteer work. I volunteered in a hospital. I volunteered with like free clinics. Being in San Diego, I was able to be like there was an organization that would go down to Mexico, because Mexico is only like 30 minutes drive from San Diego. And so we would go there and do some like kind of global health work in a free clinic there. So that was really exciting. So I try to like involve myself in as much of like medical related stuff as I could, to like kind of see if this was like the right fit for me, because medical school is a big commitment, and it takes a lot of work. So before you kind of like get there, you want to make sure that it's like the right thing for you. Um, and there's a lot of different kinds of careers in medicine. You don't have to just be a doctor. Like there's physician assistants, there's nursing, there's nurse practitioners, and like so many other careers. So that's just like, whatever you feel like, what is the best fit for you. You don't have to be a doctor to do well. And then to get to medical school, you have to apply. There's an application process. I actually had to take an exam called the MCAT. So in the last year of my college, I took like this like a standardized exam. It's kind of like SAT on steroids. So it's like a lot of like, all the like science and all the math, and sometimes like there's also like a when I took it, I think there was like an English like comprehensive part too. So it's almost like an SAT, but like worse. I know you guys aren't, I don't know if you guys are at the point of taking SAT yet, but so yeah. And then you don't have to go straight from college to medical school. I took a gap year. It's usually like I took like 1 year off between graduating from undergrad and going to medical school. And during that gap year is when I focused on applying. And then you also have to interview if you get interviews. It's pretty competitive. I think it's gotten competitive over time. But I think like my advice would be to be as like in like try not to be too hard on yourself, because you don't have to have like a 4.0 GPA. Like you don't have to be like top of your class to go to medical school. Like I mean I had good grades, but I know people who didn't have the best grades or didn't have the best MCAT scores and still got into medical school. Just like they just want to see that you're committed to the field. And so sometimes your extracurriculars could be really important and can give you a boost as well. And also, so I was talking about my gap year. So during my gap year, I actually worked as a medical scribe. So that's like basically like you work for a doctor and you help type up their notes during like a patient encounter. So that helped me learn a lot about medicine as well. It was like a nice introduction because I had very little like not, as in-depth experience before. Um, and then in medical school, it's really hard. I'm like so glad I'm done with it, but like I think it was really rewarding. I learned so much and I didn't think I could learn this much in like 4 years, but you learn a lot. And it's just been a really great experience. Like the first 2 years are mostly just like you're learning all the like information you need for medical knowledge. So it's a lot of like lectures. So basically like college again, but just medicine focused. And then the last 2 years you do clinicals. So that's when you actually get to work with patients. You rotate through all the specialties like surgery, family medicine, pediatrics, OBGYN, which is like the obstetrics and gynecology. And like internal medicine. So you get to go through all the specialties and see like where you fit in best. And then usually at the end of that, you kind of decide which specialty you want to go into. And then you go through like, I mean, I don't want to go too in depth, but then you go through like this whole process, and so once you get there, you'll kind of like figure it out. But yeah, so that's kind of like the gist of medical school. And also one thing to emphasize is that medicine is a like really um, like it's almost like a team sport. So it's like a lot of like in medical school, we did a lot of group projects, like a lot of teamwork based, like working together on cases. So like, like definitely like I think that's like a really good skill to have. And teamwork is something they want you to have when you're in like medical school and beyond, because medicine is a team sport. Um, and then next question, it like about time that I wanted to give up on the STEM and how I persevered. So I think like when I think there's a couple points in my life where I was like, oh, is this the right career for me? Because it was just like really hard. Like for example, just like even applying for medical school can be really, really challenging. It's like there's a lot of essays you have to write for each, like almost each school that you apply to, there's an essay you have to write. And so that was getting like really hard. And the fact that it was so competitive, like I felt like I had low chances of getting in. I just like did not have that confidence in myself as much as I should have. So that was like one point, low point, but I kind of just like, kept grinding and just like was like, you know what, if I don't get in, I don't get in. And I know people who don't get in the first time and they try like multiple years and they get in. So it's just, you just gotta have that like motivation and commitment if that's what you really want to do. But it's also okay to have a backup plan. And then another one was like in medical school. Medical school is really hard, and a lot of people like it can really impact you like mentally and like sometimes physically because like you're just like working long hours and like studying a lot. But like my school had a lot of like support systems in place. Like the administration was really helpful in like working with you if you're having any hard times. And then I also made sure to be in contact with my friends and family. Like right now, I'm actually in Virginia, where I go to school, and I'm really far from my family. They're back home in San Jose. So I like it was just really hard. So I always made sure to like talk to them and like talk to them if I was having any troubles, and it really helped. Um, and so why I chose to go into medicine. So I just like, growing up, so I actually went to Independence High School. And growing up, like my parents are immigrants, and a lot of my peers had like immigrant families. And I kind of noticed like some of the like challenges I saw like within my own family that face challenges in being able to get healthcare. And I just like really wanted to be able to help people who were struggling to like afford healthcare. And I think that's just like it just like being able to help people just in general, and especially people from my own like community that like really drove me to want to go into to like medicine. And like I was saying, like I was really I really thought this would be the right fit for me because I was so interested in like all the sciences and math, and then in addition to helping people. So that was part of the reason. And also another reason is like I knew that in healthcare you have really good job security. So like, like I was saying, like almost any like job you like choose in healthcare, like there's always a demand. So you'll always, have a job basically. So I think that's great. So at least like for medicine, there's always a demand for doctors and for like physician assistants and everything. So I thought that was a really good thing too. Um, Tell us so what I love about medicine, I think I just love that I get to apply like basically the things that I like learned in like high school and then in college and then like in medical school. Like you just continue to build up on all of that. Like you learn biology in like starting from like elementary school, and you just keep building up. And then in medical school, like you just keep building more and more on that. And you get to apply that to like real people. And that was like really exciting to me. And I just like loved like the like how mentally stimulating like all these subjects were for me. So I think that was just like really exciting being able to, and then also being able to kind of like solve a puzzle when a patient like it feels like I'm solving a puzzle when a patient comes to me and they're having like they're having these symptoms and they don't know what's going on, and I get to apply everything that I learned in medical school to this one person and be like, "Oh, you have this or you have that." So that was like really exciting for me too. Um and also the fact that in medicine that you just literally can do almost anything you want. Like there's so many different specialties. Like even in family medicine, the field that I'm going into, if you want to do sports medicine, you can literally specialize in sports medicine after doing family medicine. If you want to focus on delivering babies, you can do that as a family medicine physician and do like further training. So like I think like just the variety of jobs that you can have, like it can fit almost any personality. I thought that was like really great about medicine. Um, and sorry, I don't want to like take up too much time. I know like we want to open up for questions. I guess like I'll just like close off a little bit. By just like kind of giving like little points of like, how you can get to where I am. I think like I think I would start like at least in high school, like try to reach out to people. Like if you can like Google like, a nearby hospital and then like contact them to like shadow. And then even your own doctor, like your doctor, you can literally be like, hey, can I shadow you for a day? Like and sometimes like they're so open to it. So if you want to like explore things, like don't be afraid to reach out, because like most people are really nice, as yeah, like especially like to know that like a high schooler is interested in medicine, or like a middle schooler, like they'll be open to that. Another key pearl is like just don't be too hard on yourself. I know like it can be really competitive for you guys and like really stressful. But I would just like try not to be too hard. Don't like overwork yourself, but like just do things that make you happy. Like in high school, I played soccer all 4 years, and like that like was an interesting point that in interviews people ask me about. Like they're like, "Oh, like, what do you love about soccer? Like, what did you learn from it?" Like I got to talk about something I love. So like do the things you love, and it'll be fine. And just try to like, obviously focus on your studies, but it just also do the things you love. Um, so yeah, I don't know if you guys have any questions. I can keep talking, but yeah.
Yeah, thank you for your backstory. It's really great to hear like a perspective from a doctor and all of your
hmm
tips and stuff for people who are aspiring. Okay, guys, if you can raise the Zoom hand, and then Dr. Renu can call on you to answer the question. If you don't know how to raise the hand too, you could either type in the chat or just unmute, I think is fine also. Just give them a minute to think of that.
No worries.
If not, so we do have students that put their questions in the chat before, and I'll
Mhm.
read them. So
Okay.
one of the questions is, what is the most difficult part of being a doctor?
So technically, I guess I haven't been a doctor yet. I haven't stepped in that shoe yet. But I guess I can talk about like kind of like being like a medical student, getting to see like the doctors working. I think the probably what I hear is the most difficult part, especially in residency. Residency is really hard. Like you work really long hours. Like you can work up to 80 hours a week, so it could be like a lot. Um, I think that is probably the hardest thing. The fact that sometimes you work really long hours, it could be really hard to like have a work-life balance. So like, being able to, so I think like as a doctor, you have to be really intentional to take time out for yourself, do the things that you love, spend time with your family and friends. So I think like the work-life balance can be really difficult sometimes. So I would say that's probably the hardest part. And it's not the knowledge, it's not the, diagnosing patients. Like that's what comes with the job, but like the other stuff is difficult. Yeah.
So
Alright.
another question. Oh,
Yeah, another one I see here is
oh, okay.
which university or college do you go to?
So I went to UC San Diego for undergrad, and then I'm currently at Virginia Commonwealth University for medical school. It's in Richmond, Virginia. It's like 2 hours south of DC. So,
So another question from our students is, how many years of school does it require to become a doctor?
yeah, so it's 4 years of undergrad or however long it takes you to finish your degree. So you need a bachelor's degree. And then it's usually around it's 4 years for medical school. And I know some people sometimes in between their bachelor's and medical school, they'll like pursue a master's degree or something, but that's not required, obviously. But you need 4 years of undergrad and then 4 years of medical school. And then beyond that, there's residency training. So that depends on what specialty you go to, but the minimum is 3 years. And if you go into like surgery or something, sometimes they can go up to like 5, 7 years. So yeah, extra after medical school. Mhm.
So any questions from our students here? You can raise your hand, it's okay. Okay.
I think I see one in the chat. Um, have you ever doubted if you have taken the right path? Um, that's a good question. I think sometimes I did think, um, I think it's still a little too early for me to have doubts for sure, but I think definitely in medical school when I was having like a hard time, like, with like, exams and like all the demands of medical school, I would always think like, like, is this for me? Like, like, and I would always try to imagine myself doing something else. But like I just couldn't see myself doing anything else. Like I just like loved like medicine so much. And I just like kind of, pushed myself through it, like through the hard times. So yeah, I think that those are like the only times I've had doubts, but like, when I got to do like clinical stuff, like it was like really exciting. And I was like, yeah, that like this is for me. Like this is what I want to do. Yeah.
Alright.
Do I have a doctorate? Yeah, so after like so yeah, the when you graduate medical school, you graduate with a doctorate. So I have a doctorate in medicine or MD. There's two types of doctorates in medicine. So you can do DO or MD. And honestly, it really doesn't matter. I know DOs are kind of getting more popular. Um but like some right now what how it stands like the statistics like at after medical school, I think when you're an MD you have like a little bit of a better chance of like matching into a specialty that you're interested, like especially competitive specialties. But you can apply to both, but they're two different application processes. So um at first, once you joined medical school, did you find people there who you thought were easy to talk to and easy to work with, or did it take time? Unfortunately, when I started medical school, I started during COVID. So it was very different for me. Everything was virtual. Like even like we were supposed to have like little hangouts, like social events and stuff, and those ended up being virtual. So it was really hard for me to find like the people that I clicked with in the beginning, but then kind of over time, like I found people that like I like got along with and had very similar mindsets. So I mean, I'm sure it'll be a different experience for people who like didn't have to do it during COVID. So, what do you enjoy about your job and what's your favorite part of it? I think my favorite part is like talking to patients and like um just getting to know them, like, you know, like it's not just about like the diagnosing them. It's like also like just having a conversation with them is really exciting to me, but then also being able to help them. And especially in family medicine, like it's important to prevent diseases from happening. So like I really like being able to prevent like, you know, cancers, prevent people from having diabetes, prevent people from having high blood pressure. And so just like talking to patients about that really excites me. So yeah, great question. I don't know if
All
we're
right,
gonna be
guys.
kicked out, but
We won't. The meeting's actually 40 minutes, I think, for Zoom.
oh, cool.
So we
Okay.
Oh,
have
we
10
have a
minutes left.
countdown. Yeah, we have 10
Yeah, there's a
minutes.
countdown now. But if there's no other last questions, I think we can start wrapping it up though. We're
Yeah.
good? Any last questions? Okay, I
I
think we're good. Oh,
mhm.
sorry. You guys.
No, I just had like one last kind of like tip. I know like sometimes parents and stuff can like be like pressuring you and like, oh, you should be a doctor, like, you know, you should be a lawyer. I think like medicine, it's hard because like especially if you're like trying to go for like the money, like I know doctors are well paid overall, but like I think like it's just such a hard field. Like you shouldn't like go into it because like your parents told you to, or because like you want like money, you know, at the end. Like I think you should go in wanting to do and wanting to actually do it, and then also know yourself in that you can handle the demands of this field. Because I know people who like went in because their parents forced them to, and like unfortunately they didn't do well. So like it's definitely a very hard process because you have to go through like such a long process to get here. So definitely like keep that in mind as you're like thinking about what you want to do. But yeah, just like best of luck to all of you guys. Please reach out to me. If you want to send my email out, like that's totally fine. If you guys have more questions, just let me know along the way. I'm like you can email me whenever, like even when you're in college or whatever. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Renu. Thank you for your
Yeah, of
answering questions and background. Thank you guys
course.
for your questions and have a good rest of your day.
Okay, bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.